So good evening, wonderful people. It is Monday night. It's 3 minutes past 9. It's a bank holiday, 26th of August. Massively grateful that all of you lot have still joined me on a bank holiday. I know a lot of people would, be enjoying themselves, having a day off today. So hugely appreciate you for being here. If you're joining us on the replay, you're watching on YouTube on the replay, or you are listening on iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher on the Acts on This TV audio experience, huge shout out to you. Please come and join us live one Monday night, 9 p.m. UK time. Every Monday we do this, 9 till 10. Cover something, ultimately, you know what, we chat about life, chat about the arts industry, chat about what it's like being a human being within this industry and this life, and hopefully, give out some info that's going to help you get much further in your life faster, and just enjoy it a bit more. Tonight's topic is, it's been brought on by something that I experienced myself over the last couple of days. For those who are regular viewers of this, you'll know I'm an actor. I run a web. For those who are new, by the way, yeah, I'm an actor. I run a website called actsonthis.tv. Ultimately, sit down with actors and agents and writers and casting directors every week, interview them via podcasts and video interviews, put them on actsonthis.tv for you guys as actors to listen to, and again, help you get further in your career faster. But if you've been around a while, the last couple of weeks, you'll have known, you've known that I've been kind of like talking about it a little bit. Didn't want to go too much into it because I never like speaking about things until they happen. But I was up for what was effectively the biggest acting gig opportunity of my entire career, the past 21 years. It was a brilliant part in a Warner Brothers and a CBS drama in America. Over the last 5 weeks, I'd been auditioning for it. I'd been doing self-tapes. I'd sent roughly 56 emails and put a lot of hustle into it till it got to the point where I got flown out to Toronto in Canada. First time I'd ever been to Canada. What a country. What an amazing city. I can't wait to go back. I'm not going to be working there just yet. I'll tell you why in a minute. Didn't get the result I wanted. But I'd go back as a tourist anyway. It's absolutely phenomenal city. I'd recommend everybody goes and visits it. But yeah, basically went out for a chemistry read, the final stage basically in this process with the lead actress. Phenomenal actress, very, very cool. This show is also not directed, it's been executive produced by someone who's pretty much Hollywood royalty. I'm not going to go too much into it just because it hasn't happened yet. But yeah, basically I went out there. There was two of us up for it. Did my absolute best. It was one of those auditions where you walk out the room and you're like, I have absolutely nothing else to give. Whatever happens here just happens. I can't do anything else about it. Literally could not have given more of myself to that process. And I was like, look, just got to kind of let it go now. It's hard to do that though when the stakes are high. And I waited 7 days. I got an email on Friday night, our time in the UK. That was a lovely, incredibly kind, compassionate, wonderful email from the casting team that had told me that the job had gone to the other guy. Obviously, disappointing, but there's still a hell of a lot of gifts within this process. I'll be completely honest, for about 12 hours, I didn't really want to do very much at all, to be honest with you. I'd put so much into this process, and obviously when you get a rejection like that, it's like, oh my God, again. As actors, we get a lot of rejection. I'd been in a similar-ish situation in 2014, not quite as big, but still definitely would have changed my career. And again, I got a no down to the last two there as well. So I had been here before with these kind of career-changing opportunities, and I was like, wow, again, this has happened. And it feeds into all of your insecurities. Obviously, everyone, we're all only human, no matter how much you know about, your emotions and emotional mastery and psychology. This stuff still hits you pretty hard. So yeah, I kind of moped around for half of the day on Saturday and then went, no, come on. This isn't how winning is done. We're going to get back on the horse. We're going to dust ourselves off and we're going to start again. And I want to share, I put a tweet out yesterday or the day before, basically sharing multiple kind of things that I've learned over the last 21 years I've been an actor. And these are some of the biggest things I've learned about rejection to help you get through rejection really quickly, because it is a really necessary part of this process. Yes, I was annoyed. I was a bit disheartened and down on myself. But you know what? What an incredible opportunity that was. I don't know anybody else actually I've got friends in my circle who have done really, really big shows. some in the States as well, but I don't know anyone who's been in exactly that kind of situation. So, really, really cool, privileged situation to be in when companies like that are flying you out, all expenses paid trips to Canada. It was amazing, and I got an awful lot out of it. But yeah, of course, I was a little bit down initially, but I want to share with you guys tonight 7 steps to crushing that rejection. And this applies, to rejection in and out of your acting career as well. This is just life, because life will turn around and punch you in the face sometimes. You will get rejected by people you might want to go on dates with, you might be in relationships with, they end up, dumping you, etc., or whatever. Any kind of rejection, job interviews that are outside the acting industry. I don't know, whatever it is, you can apply these strategies too. So I'm going to share those. I'm just going to go into the comments on Facebook first of all, and just see what people are doing. And then, I'm going to put some slides up on the screen for you, and we're going to go through them. I think it's valuable though, and honestly, it's like these things have really helped me over the last couple of days. Just like, I'm totally cool with it now. It was a massive opportunity, and I can see all the gifts within it, and it's like, I didn't get it, but you know what? I'm all right with it now. It's absolutely fine. Hello, Linda. How are you doing? Jay's here as well. Caitlin's joined. Sharon's here as well. Good evening, Angie. Hope you are good. All right, Sharon. Bernard's here. Lindsay's here. Edward Darling. Not seen you for a while, mate. Hope you are good. That wasn't me calling him Darling, by the way. His name's Edward Darling. Although, I'm sure you are a darling, Edward. Or already been in the pub and now enjoying a pizza, says Sharon. My first live video finally got my butt into gear, says Naomi. Nice one, Naomi. Come and join us every week. Brendan's here as well. Hope you're good, Brendan. Tony Rossi's here. First Periscope for me, says Lindsay. So Lindsay's watching on Periscope. Amazing. Yeah, because this goes out on Facebook, Linz. Also goes out on Twitter and Twitter's video stream, which is Periscope as well. So thanks for joining us. All right, Matthew Banks is in the house. Claire says tuning into this instead of Peaky Blinders, showing solidarity. Nice one, Claire. Appreciate you being here. Inez is here as well, and Steve is still dog sitting. Archie's in the house. Archie, good evening, my man. Jamie's here. So many people. Archie says, sorry to hear that, Ross. Keep up the momentum and take a look at how bloody far you've come. Yeah, I know, mate. Honestly, we're going to go through that now. It's what a lot of actors don't do. They don't give themselves credit for how far they've come. They just look at how far they've got to go. And they don't live where they are. They sort of live in the gap between where they are and where they want to be. And that's a very miserable place. So we'll talk about that tonight as well. Julie, good evening. Jay says, so close. Keep your head up. You will get the next one. I've got to get one day, Jay. Definitely, man. Honestly, definitely. Matt said he's faced a lot of rejections. Move on to the next project. Such a great networking experience, says Corinne. Have you thought the other guy might drop out, says Dawn. I don't think he will, Dawn, but, I'm always on standby just in case. And there's another 76 comments. I can't read them all, guys, but I will try and get through as much as I can. Ollie says, gutted for you, Ross. I'm waiting to hear back after a 3rd round audition for something I really want. So this chat may prepare me for the worst. Hope I don't need it yet, though. Yeah, honestly, Ollie, man, seriously, we're going to go through these steps now, but what we've all got to do with rejection is look at it for what it is, right? Not more than what it is. Okay, a lot of people, and me included, have been guilty of this in the past, where you look at rejection as, oh my God, the whole world has collapsed around me. This is it, game over. And what happens is we do something called negative stacking, which is where you go, oh, now this has happened, now I won't get that, now that won't happen, now I won't experience that. And before you know it, you've built up this dreadful sort of catastrophe. And you do what in psychology is called fortune tell. You look to the future that, is dreadful because you didn't get this one thing, and it's nonsense. Look at all rejection for just what it is, no more than what it is and no less than what it is, but just for what it is. All this was just a job. I just lost a job. It's fine, there will be others. So I'm going to bring some slides up on the screen for you now. This is 7 steps to crushing your rejection and getting back on track fast, because there is absolutely no point in just moaning and moping around, and bringing everybody else's energy down as well. The quicker you can get your ass back in gear, give yourself like that 12 hours that I had, give yourself half a day to just, be a bit down if you want, and just sort of feel it. You've got to feel it, I think. You've got to go through it. You've got to feel it, but then just don't stay in that place, okay? So rejection, dealing with rejection is probably one of the hardest tasks for an actor. Our industry is rife with rejection, and you all know this when you go into it, right? You are going into this industry with your eyes open, right? If you don't like the thought of rejection, don't be in the industry, right? You can say it's not fair. It is. It's completely fair. It was completely fair that I lost that job. There was 2 of us going for it. I'm sure the guy who got it will do a fantastic part. He will play a fantastic part in that show. it's fair. There has to be a second place. I am not one. I'm not a supporter of like 8th place trophies like there are in the world today. My nephew's 14 and was at school and sports day. Every single person who took part in a race got a trophy. That's not how the real world works. Let's not prepare our children for thinking they're going to get a trophy when they come 8th. There's no trophy in this game for second. So don't worry about it. So yeah, our industry's rife with rejection. We know it's part of the game, but at times it's still incredibly hard to deal with. After losing out on the biggest job opportunity of my career, I've put on this slide so far, let me share with you what 20 plus years, it's roughly 21 years, of acting has taught me about rejection. Number one, and those who read that tweet that I put out will kind of have seen some of these points on that tweet. I'm just going to expand on them tonight. But number one here, for those on the audio experience, it says, every no is one step closer to a yes. And I really, really believe this, right? I'm a big believer in this. Success really is a numbers game. Okay, the more opportunity you can cultivate for yourself, the more chance you have of converting that opportunity into a win. Rejection can drain you of your energy and motivation, obviously, to carry on, but there really is no alternative than to get up and try again. Now, I was reading recently some studies that are absolutely fascinating on sales and ultimately converting, prospects into customers. And what they're now doing, rather, a lot of sales teams, some of the highest performing sales teams around the world, what like the people in charge of these teams are doing is they are actually setting their team members goals for the number of no's they can get. So rather than saying, listen, right, you've got to get on the phone today and you've got to sell 5. You've got to get 5 yeses. You've got to sell 5 cases of wine, or you've got to get 5 people to donate to a charity or whatever it is on the phone. Rather than saying you've got to get 5 yeses, they'll go, right, okay, you've got to get 20 no's today. So even if you've got your 5 yeses, you've still got to carry on until you've received 20 no's. And what they found is that ultimately, by setting the goals this way, they inevitably get more than 5 yeses on the pursuit for 20 no's. So as actors, set yourself goals for as many no's as you can get. I think that's really valuable when you're writing to agents, when you're writing to casting directors, etc. A lot of people will, write 3 letters to agents. They'll get a no off each and they'll just be so downhearted. They lose all inspiration and traction to move forward and they stop. Set yourself some goals to go, right, you know what, I'm not going to stop until I've had 50 no's, because I promise you on the way to 50 no's, you're going to get 5 yeses. Whereas if you just, set out to get 5 yeses and the first 5 people you speak to give you a no, you're not going to be, remotely excited or inspired to carry on. And success really is a numbers game. The agents on this live tonight, Archie will... he's on here, a fantastic agent, Archie Purnell. He'll vouch for this. When you're putting your clients forward for stuff, Archie, they're not going to get every single thing they go for. But obviously, the more things you can put them up for. If they're getting 1 audition a year, then, the stakes are massively high on that 1 audition. If you're bringing them in, 4 auditions a month, and they've got 48 auditions, they're going to get at least 5 or 6 yeses, You get, half a dozen decent jobs a year, from those auditions. So it really is a numbers game. Obviously you've got to have the talent. You can't just go, right, I'm going to get as many auditions as I can and I'm completely shit. You're never going to get a job, no matter how many, auditions you go for. But the more opportunities you can cultivate for yourself, the more chance you've got of obviously converting one of those into a yes. Brendan said he's keeping file of his no letters and it's fine. Nice one. All right, Kev's here as well. Maggie's here. So Gerard's here as well. All right, Gerard, hope you're good, mate. So yeah, go for, embrace the no's ultimately. Let's stop associating them with disaster. Okay, every no you get is one step closer to a yes, and I absolutely had to tell myself that when I found out this news. So that's point number 1. Point number 2, I really believe in this as well. Sometimes you need to get knocked down in order to stand up stronger. Okay, and here's the reality. We don't grow. This is absolutely my experience of life, right? We do not grow through the good times. We just don't. We grow through the bad times. Really, really mean that. When you think back, when everything's going well in your life, it's very easy, isn't it, to be positive and to carry on because it's all going well. You're not growing through that. You're not becoming more resilient and stronger, and you're not kind of improving yourself. You're just kind of coasting along, going, "Oh, this is really nice." When life punches you in the face, when somebody dies, when you lose somebody. I had to go to 2 funerals last week. I grew through that experience of death. When my dad died in 2006, it was awful, but I absolutely know I came out of that situation far stronger, a way more loving person, a much more rounded person, more appreciative person, just a much better person. I grew through those bad times. Rock bottom is very often the foundation of great success. And I heard J.K. Rowling say that when she was in a one bed sit, single parent, trying to flog Harry Potter, and absolutely nobody would entertain the idea at all. She said she was at her absolute rock bottom. All she had was a typewriter and a dream. And look at her now. She said that rock bottom was the very, the very thing that she built the foundation, of her success on. So use rejection as fuel, ultimately, to get back up and stand taller than you did before. You will learn so much from each rejection that you get. And every single rejection you get, kind of like, in my experience, it gets a little bit easier. It doesn't last quite as long. It always reminds me of that song Sam Smith sings, where he's talking about Sam Smith sings that song, Too Good at Goodbyes or whatever, and there's some lyric in it that's kind of like, every time you sort of like, you say goodbye or whatever, like, it doesn't hurt as much, like, it's fine, it just takes me less time to get over. I feel rejection's like that in the acting industry. When you first start off, it really kills, and you take it really personally, and you take it to heart, and you think things like, what's wrong with me? I'm not good enough. I'll never be good enough. Everyone's better than me. But the more times this industry kicks you in the balls, or just for the women, just punches you, it slaps you in the face, the easier it kind of gets to get over it, I think. And this was a massive rejection I received. This is the biggest job I could have been rejected from, like, that I've ever had the opportunity to get. And yeah, the rejection, it hurt. It lasted 12 hours. Previously in my career, it would have lasted 12 months probably. Sometimes a person's got to go a long distance out of his way in order to come back a short distance correctly, says Paul. That's a quote from Edward Albee. Sometimes a person has to go a long distance out of his way in order to come back a short distance correctly. Interesting. Jamie says a no in the room is one step closer to that casting director saying yes. Completely agree with that as well. Zach's in the house. All right, Zach, hope you're good, mate. Paul says that he's framed on his wall his first rejection letter from drama school. It grounded me and gave me made me a more determined person. Oh, that's awesome, man. And that's just using it as fuel, using it the right way. And Brendan says, how's this? You have to go out on a limb to get to the fruit of the tree. Says Shirley MacLaine. Unless you knock yourself out, says Steve. Oh, God. But yeah, ultimately, yeah, I believe that. Sometimes you need to get knocked down, not knocked out, just knocked down in order to stand up stronger than you've ever been before. And yeah, we really do grow through rejection. It is rejection and adversity, ultimately. All adversity, I think, is a real opportunity for advantage and a real opportunity for growth, if you allow yourself to go through it. Number 3, dwelling. Oh, this will kill you. And sometimes I can't help this, but it's something I have to remind myself of, like, regularly. Dwelling on what you cannot change will never bring you anything positive. Dwelling on what you cannot change will never bring you anything positive, right? I've been so guilty of this in the past, both in and out of my acting career. I dwelled on a relationship, a breakup, for probably 3-4 years. And the result was the same. Every single time I went to that place in my head, it made me feel sick. I use this analogy of going, listen, if I, Jade, all right, Jade's here. So Jade, say, for instance, I said, right, here's a piece of cake, Jade. Got your piece of cake. Oh, thanks, Ross. And you ate it and you puked instantly. The next time I came in and said, oh, Jade, I've got another piece of this cake. Do you want it? You'd probably say, Ross, you know what? Last time I had that, I puked everywhere, so I'm probably going to pass on that. I don't want it this time, thanks. Whereas with negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions in our heads, and when we are dwelling, it will make us sometimes feel physically sick, that, that those thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are negative and bad, we're reliving them in our minds, in our heads, we're feeling them. Our body doesn't know the difference between whether we've already been through them or we're going through them again when you are just playing them over and over in your head. You will feel physical turmoil when you think about bad things. We eat those thoughts and ultimately we puke, but we keep, for some reason, going back and eating those thoughts again and again and again. It is human nature to dwell on your mistakes, your regrets, and your losses. But again, it is just not practical, right? And I'm super, super practical. You just got to look at it and go, actually, you know what? Is this going to do me any good? Is this going to fuel me today, or charge me up, charge my batteries, or is this going to drain me? Replaying a negative scenario over and over again in your head will never bring you a positive outcome. And I don't care, anyone on here, we're all guilty of that. And this is something, honestly, I on a probably weekly basis, out of everything I'm going to talk to tonight, this is probably the thing that I have to remind myself of the most, dwelling on stuff. So for those people who know as well, I mean, the whole reason I got this invited over for this audition, by the way, was because it was to play a partially sighted, visually impaired character. I'm a visually impaired actor. I'm losing my eyesight. I've got a condition called retinitis pigmentosa, which slowly robs you of your vision. I have to really remind myself regularly, and it's automatic now. It's like I'm pretty good at it. Going, don't dwell on that. Don't dwell on what might be in the future, Work with what is now. Don't dwell on the fact that this site might go further down the line, or what happens, is it going to be in 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or 10 years. Stop dwelling on the fact you have this and just freaking, take action today, because you're here, you're still alive, do it. But this is something that, out of all of these things we're going to talk to tonight, I'd probably practice the most, because this is a bit of an Achilles heel, I think, for most people. Joe's in the house. All right, Joe. Gerard says, my advice to these heads would be, you can be a 20-year overnight success, but it takes a long effing time, man. But you can't get there if you just stop, keep yourself in training so you're ready when it happens. Yeah, a lot of people do think people are overnight successes, and when you look back at it, you go, wow, they've been hustling for 15, 20 years. Alex says, I find rejection sort of empowering. It makes me want to prove myself. It hurts, but it fuels the fire. I think that's a really good way to look at it. Matt says, I've dwelled in the past, but now I don't do it. I contain my negative thoughts. I think there's got to be a way to kind of not suppress them either, Matt, but don't know. You just got to channel that energy, haven't you, into something else that's good. After every I go for a run and eat cake, says Jade. See my friends for coffee and recharge, and bam, I'm ready to go again. Surrounding yourself with empowering people is everything. Really is. I really do believe you are the average of the people you hang out with, you spend the most time with, and if you're choosing wisely, if you're hanging out with 5, I say this all the time, but 5 bitching, moaning actors, you'll become the 6th. If you hang out with 5 inspiring people who are having success, who are motivated, and ultimately, stretch yourself. I try and I went out for a curry on Friday night with 3 guys, 2 guys I've not seen from the States for a long time, and one I've never met before. Super, super successful people in their own right, not in acting, nothing to do with acting. Very successful business guys in the entrepreneurial space, based out in the States. And, I was I had probably the least knowledge there on, the entrepreneurial landscape, and learned so much from them. And, just was inspired by the chat. Sometimes that's really good as well, It's cliche, isn't it? But, if you are the most successful person in the room, you're in the wrong room, All right, Josh, Bobby's here as well. Hope you are good. So Gerard, he says, no way, you read my message out. Mate, I will read people's messages out on this live. That's what we do. It is live. Number 4, rejection is not always about you. And I like what Tats just said in the comments as well. He said, don't let your shortcomings define you. Let them refine you. Nice. I love it. So in terms of, rejection is not always about you. In the acting industry, it really sometimes is not about you. Not as in personal. It's nothing to do with you sometimes. I gave my heart and soul to this role in Canada. Honestly, it was the most prepared I had ever been for an audition in my life. This obviously meant the world to me. I knew the scenes inside out, back to front, like the back of my hand. And to be honest, it was the most serene. Bizarrely, it was the most pressurized situation I've probably been in. There must have been about 11 people in the room and 3 people dialing in from LA on Skype. But I was really, really relaxed, because I was like, mate, you've done your homework. Chill out. This is just your time to just, showing what you've got. And And honestly, there was nothing more I could have done to push that job over the line. And that's a lovely feeling because I can be completely at ease with that. Had I not got the role and I'd have screwed up those scenes, or I'd have thought, you know what, Ross, you didn't rehearse enough, you didn't know them well enough, you forgot your lines, you made a really basic error, you made a fool of yourself, I would be kicking myself. Because I was completely prepared, the most I'd ever been prepared in my life. I'm like, you know what, I did what I could. So sometimes rejection isn't about you. It's rarely personal in this game. Right? I don't know what the deciding factor was of why I didn't get that role in the end, but it was certainly out of my control, at least. You know, it could have been anything to do with, I don't know, my height. It could have been, maybe they went, you know what, we decided we're not going to go with a British accent anymore. We want someone, you know, American. I have absolutely no idea, but it was out of my control. And, you know, one thing I've realized over the years as well is you can only control to the end of your fingertips. You know, it's like, that's it. Everything else, you've got to let go. Of that stuff. I've been in auditions before where I've been reading in for the casting directors, and you know, I've seen what it's like to be on the other side of the auditions, and I've seen people lose jobs for all kinds of things like hair color, hair length, height, you know, build and aesthetics. I once, it was crazy, I've told this story a couple of times before, but I once saw an incredible actress come in and completely smash this scene she was doing for this comedy, fantastic comedy, TV comedy, and she left the room, this actress, and I was like, that's it. We've been searching for days for this character, and I was like, that's got to be it. And I looked at the exec producer, and she kind of had her head in her hands a little bit. I was like, what's up? And she said, I don't really know what to say. She said, she seems to be perfect, but she's too beautiful. She's just too beautiful. Now, how can you kind of like run out of the room and say, oh, by the way, I just want to let you know you've not got this part because you're just too good looking. Sorry about that. You know, I mean, what a way to lose a part. But she would never know. And I'm sure hopefully they fed back to her agent. But, you know, she could go home and just think, oh, I'm a loser. I didn't do very well. She did so well. So sometimes the rejection really isn't about you. It's not about your performance. It's not about, you know, what you bring to the role. It's just about some stuff that you cannot control, you know. If it's something to do with your height, you can't just go and grow another 3 inches, can you, you know? So you've really got to be kind to yourself in situations where you're rejected as well, because it's not always about you. Brendan says the hardest thing about rejection is non-actor friends don't get it. Yeah, that's true as well, you know. I've learned to tell others nothing about acting jobs or applying to agents. It's why you need to seek out people who do understand. You know what? It's been amazing. That tweet I put out on, let me just go over and just have a look, actually. The tweet that I put out on my Twitter, just ultimately, you know, just sharing this, because I was like, look, people are not sharing their losses. All people are doing is sharing their wins on social media, and it's bullshit. Like, you know, there's a lot of actors who just think that, or feel like they're the only ones in the industry not working. I'm like, I'm going to just tell the world a little bit about this. So that tweet at the top there, it's been liked 601 times. I've been retweeted 116 times. It's a thread. Go and read it. It's on the top of my my Twitter account. It's pinned to the top. You can check out my profile. It's Ross A. Grants. But, you know, there's literally hundreds of other actors that's resonated with. So you're not on your own. Loads of us are getting rejected all the time. It's absolutely part and parcel of the job. It doesn't make you a shit actor. Like, you know, there's only ever going to be one person who can get that job. Like I say, there is no trophy for second place. So yeah, just, you know, be kind to yourself. Definitely. Steve says sometimes it can be because you're just too good looking. So, you know, absolutely, Steve. That's what I just said. That's what I said, you know, man. That poor girl, just whether she knew or not, I don't know. I don't think that's defeatist at all. Nice work, man. What's that for, Tony? See, I don't think Facebook gives me all these comments, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know if I'm seeing them all, but hopefully you guys are being able to read the chat. Just don't give yourself a back door. Put it all in so you don't cheat yourself, says Gerard. What do you mean in terms of what in the casting? I mean, honestly, I just felt like I left the room like with nothing left. I was like, I've left it all in the room. I had nothing else to give. So yeah, it's nice when you come out like that. You're like, actually, you know what? There's nothing nothing else I would have changed. Michelle says you are right. The only control we have is in the preparation, and if we have done that, we can look ourselves in the eye in the mirror and say, "Good on you, kid." Exactly, Michelle. Definitely. And Linda says non-actor friends are not interested in your acting. They don't get it, do they? But that's why you should find, you know, and you know what? If anyone on here is struggling to like seek out other actors and like have a community, you know, that's the whole reason I set up actsonthis.tv. And we do monthly meetups. Come and join the community, actsonthis.tv. There's a private community, a forum on the website, hundreds of hours worth of acting, the best acting career advice in the industry, from the biggest names in the industry, in TV, the biggest casting directors you can possibly find, agents, actors, writers, producers. I've got some great content coming up this week I'm recording as well that I'm going to put out soon. And we do these monthly meetups on the first Saturday of every month in Manchester and London. Check out the Facebook page for details of those. It's 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. Home Theatre in Manchester. I run that one. And then got some amazing people down in London who run it at BFI South Bank at Benugo Bar, 11 till 2 there as well. First Saturday of every month. So the first one is going to be, next one, sorry, is going to be the 7th of September. So yeah, remember, rejection is not always about you, all right? Point number 5. This is a question you can ask yourself in lots of circumstances, right? What good is there in this rejection that you currently cannot see? When life hits you in the face, ask yourself this, in general, what good is there in this situation? Never mind the rejection, but what good is there in this situation that I currently cannot see? Because in life, you really get what you look for. I really mean that. If you wake up in the morning, you want to put your negative glasses on and you want to look through the lenses of negativity, you will see it everywhere. If you want to put your positive glasses on and look through the lenses of positivity, you will see that everywhere as well. And that's why it's really useful to both start and end the day focusing on the things that you are grateful for. It sounds super cliched and really overused in the personal development world, but it's because it works. You cannot be grateful and pissed off at the same time. I cannot say, oh, I'm so grateful I got this opportunity, to go and screen test for this massive show in a pissed off voice. Can't do it. Those two emotions cannot exist concurrently in your head. You cannot be grateful and annoyed, grateful and bitter, grateful and feeling sorry for yourself. You just can't. So look for the gifts. If you really look hard, you will find gifts in your rejection. Yeah, I lost out on a great job, but I've gained like a really awesome relationship with 3 new casting directors I never would have met otherwise in LA, who have told me they'll look out for me in other stuff. They're going to pass me and share me around with other casting directors. I met a phenomenal actress, who's been super gracious, very, very kind. I've direct messaged this actress a few times on Instagram. She's been really, really nice. I learned a lot from just being in the room with her and getting to act opposite her. I got an all expenses paid trip to Canada, experience of a career abroad, and some really freaking amazing memories where I'm like, the chances of that happening were so slim. This all came about because of one email an agent sent me, who wasn't even my own agent at the time, that I kind of followed up on. I had no idea 5 weeks later it would have ended in that. It was just like a really, just normal thing. Like, all right, okay, yeah, I'll do a tape and send it off. Probably never going to hear anything. And then bang. So you just don't, you just don't know. Sharon says, don't know why I didn't get a notification of your tweets. Well, Sharon, I don't know either. But that's why you need to just be checking every day on my profile. Let's have a look. So Gerard says, don't give yourself an excuse from a performance standpoint. I think that's key, mate. That's it. As long as you go in and you deliver, that's it. That's all you can do. And that's the key for this. That's absolutely, preparation we've spoken about. But if you are fully prepared and you walk into that room empowered, knowing the lines, not shitting your pants because you haven't rehearsed properly or you don't know it or making excuses. The amount of actors when I was reading in at auditions I would see come in and the first thing out of their mouth would be an excuse. Oh, I'm ill. I'm really sorry about my voice. Oh, I didn't get the script in time. Even if those things are true, don't comment on them. Don't comment on them because you just set the tone for negativity in the room and we're expecting you to fail then because we're looking, for vulnerabilities in your performance because you've just told us everything, everything that could possibly go wrong might go wrong. So don't do that. Walk into the room empowered. I always say this when I walk in the room. Sounds a bit mental, but I go, listen, everything you need is within you now and you have the courage to see it through. I say I. So everything I need is within me now and I have the courage to see it through. It's a little kind of like mantra, a little positive power phrase that I say over and over again. Just get myself primed, ready to go in the room. And I can only say that if I've really done the work. So there is no substitution for hard work. Meritocracy is a real thing. Those who work the hardest generally get the best results. So yeah, make sure you are prepared. Cheryl, good evening. She says, hi, good news. I've signed up to another acting course in September. Nice one. That's good. Always, staying ready so you don't have to get ready. It's a real important thing as well. Make sure you, stay ready, stay prepared so you don't have to get prepared. which is cool. Another 24 comments have come in. Steve says, I find non-actor friends do take an interest but don't really tell you. I ran into someone in the pub the other day who I've not seen for ages and also not got them on social media. First comment was, I've seen your videos and they're well good. I find a lot of people do take interest whether they show it on social media or not. That's another thing, there are a lot of people who lurk. I find that in the Acts on This.tv community, and people probably on these broadcasts right now. There'll be people who are watching this right now. There's 57 people concurrently online. By the time I finish this, there'll probably be, I don't know, maybe 350 people will probably have been through this broadcast and will have watched a little bit of it. Maybe get another 300 watching on the replay. Not everyone's going to comment. People do, just like to just observe. And that's absolutely fine. So yeah, you never know who's watching, which is why you always want to be putting out quality content, because it just means, it just takes one person to see it. You get a great opportunity from that. Alex says, have you done a US network show before us? I haven't, mate. This would have been the first network show. It's a big show as well, mate. And when you network TV out, so not cable out in the States, network, it is game changing, because the money out there as well is it's 10, 20 times more than it is over here. Like, it's insane. The exposure is obviously massive. It was such a phenomenal experience. Just in terms of screen testing, man, the way they look after you was absolutely like nothing else. Literally, chauffeur-driven car came and picked me up from here, took me to the airport, fast-tracked me through security, best seats on the plane, picked up at the other end, an incredible hotel, picked up the next day, screen test, money just to go and hang out in Toronto with. Here's some cash, just go and have a nice time. It's like, oh my God, it was insane. But that's what I mean, got so much out of it, like just in terms of a life experience. So grateful for just experiencing that. It was completely new culture for me. And I've worked on great stuff here in the UK, and you get very well looked after, but network TV is just a different animal. So hopefully there'll be more. It's really, if anything, it's bolstered my confidence, mate, that I have the potential to, to do it and really have a career out there. Whereas previously, maybe I'd kind of dreamt about it a little bit, but I've thought, I'll probably stick to the UK for a bit, and maybe if that comes, it'll come. It's really piqued my interest in going, actually, like, that's really possible. Final two in a big show, that's really possible. So, yeah, again, another positive, another what that is a good thing that I maybe not, couldn't currently see when I first got that initial rejection in the first few minutes. But yeah, it's such a blessing, that really. Bobby says he got rejected from a play that he later found out got cancelled and wouldn't have been paid like advertised. Not long after I found this out, I got cast in other things. There you go, Bobby. So you just rerouted, mate, to something else. Definitely. I'm still hopeful, that maybe other opportunities will come up in this series, and maybe, I'll get another crack at the whip at something. You just don't know. That's happened a lot for me in the UK, where I've not been given the role that I got initially, that I went for initially, but I've been given other stuff as well. That happened in Brassic. Who's watching Brassic at the moment? Joe Gilgan's comedy, Danny Broccolo's comedy, so freaking good, so funny. I went for a role in that, didn't get it, got given another role instead, and ironically, that role has since been cut. Hopefully not because I did a shit job, just because they didn't have time to put it in. So now Brassic 2, the sequel, is currently underway, started filming today. I'm like, right, well, this is great, because I've got another crack. Because I wasn't in Series 1, I can be in Series 2 now. Maybe something bigger will come along. You just don't know. Maybe it did happen for a reason. So yeah, always look for the good in that rejection that right now you might not, currently be able to see, because it is there. And that's the same with relationships, everything in your life, right? What good is there in this situation right now that I cannot currently see? Please look for it, because it will be there. 6, realize, this is so important, that rejection is proof you are pushing your limits. If you're not, and I really mean this, just do a little audit on yourself right now for when the last time you got rejected. If you are not experiencing rejection, you are living inside of your comfort zone. I really mean that. I'm saying it again. If you are not experiencing rejection, brutal reality, you are right now living inside of your comfort zone. When was the last time, tell me in the comments, I'd love to know, when was the last time you got rejected? Has it been this month? We're 26 days into August. Have you had a rejection so far? Because if you haven't, you're not going out of your way to strive or improve, or go after something bigger than you are right now. It might sound crazy, but you really should be seeking out rejection. Lots of people, if you're like, love a relationship. When was the last time you like risked rejection and actually asked that guy or girl out that you really liked? Or did you just sit in front of them hoping that they would notice that, maybe you'd be interested and you wanted them to make the move? Because you're petrified of rejection. It's like a really good thing to get rejected because at least at least you know either way, right? How do you know where your limits lie right now if you are not testing the boundaries? And boundaries move, right? If you get a rejection, like right now, right, I got rejected from that job. I don't feel that that's the limit for me now. Well, that's it. I'm never going to get a job at that standard again because I got rejected once. Your boundaries move. The more rejection you get, you lift the ceiling on that. And the next time, maybe you feel you got more potential, you go a bit harder, you get better results. That feeds back into your belief system. Like next time, I've got more potential. I'm going to take even more action, get better results. Boundaries move. The more risk you take ultimately in life, and I don't mean like, life and death shit. Don't like just go base jumping or parachuting if you don't want to. The more risk you take, the more reward you open yourself up to. So what risks are you going to take this week? Like, honestly, who are you going to write to? What are you going to ask for? Who are you going to communicate with? That, what you're going to demand from yourself? Because if you're not prepared for rejection, like, you're not really living, to be honest. Sharon says, you made an impact, Ross. Thank you, Sharon. What a massive result. Law of attraction, mate. Positive vibes bring surprising things. You just never know, do you? Caitlin says she's hoping to have a big name in a short film. They've asked for the script, and whilst I'm hopeful of a positive outcome after this presentation, I'm thoroughly prepared just in case I get a no. Yeah, honestly, don't focus on it. Don't expect to know. I certainly didn't expect to know. In this, I had a 50-50 chance of getting it. At this stage, me and the other guy, both of us could have done that role. No doubt about it. What's the point in flying us both out if we can't do it? He just fitted it better. He just probably had, fitted it, whether it's aesthetically or something else. I don't know. But either of us could have done it. And I can't be bitter about that. Best of luck to the guy. I hope he does a really good job of it. But yeah, I wasn't expecting a no. I wanted a yes. I was hopeful, I stayed positive, I focused on the yes, just didn't get it. It doesn't always work out, but there will be a next time. Steve says, I wouldn't say... he's commenting on something else, Steve. Didn't know what you're talking about there, mate. I don't think I am seeing all the comments. Jennifer, good evening. Claire says, you're pushing me out of my lurker comfort zone, says Claire, after last week. So Claire came on the social media deep dive for on this as well. It's not over yet, Claire. We've still got a few more sessions left on that. She says she started to emerge into the social networking light. So you've got small successes everywhere. Yeah, it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Keep pushing yourself. Get yourself out there. Adam, good evening. Hope you're good. Alex says, nice. It's a blast. Bit of a mind F, to be honest. Just finished on my first one. You're right on about a recall for a late... a possible recall for a later bit down the line. If you're in front of the network execs, you're 100% on their radar. That'd just be amazing, mate. Be absolutely amazing. Imagine if they just call me up and go, actually, Ross, you know what? We decided we're going to give you an even bigger part than the one you went for. I mean, stranger things can happen. Stranger things can happen. Jay says he had a similar experience a few years ago. I was up for a series that would have changed my life moving to the US. It was for one of the biggest casting directors. I got a recall, but didn't get the role. The casting director said, you're a really good actor. You must have done a lot of things. It did confirm how good I am and spurs me on, knowing my time will come. Looking back, it was the best thing to never happen to me. I'm now far better on camera. Just there, it's just life, isn't it? Just there to kind of, it's up to you how you use that rejection, Jay. And you've obviously used it well, mate. For some people, that would have been enough to push them out of the game. People quit every day. That's the thing as well you've got to remember, right? If you woke up this morning, and you decided you were still in the game, like, you beat people by default who gave up yesterday. That's something that people get twisted with age. They're like, oh, I'm getting older, I'm not getting anywhere. The older you're getting, one, the more life experience you're having. So ultimately, if you're putting that into your craft, the better you should be becoming as an actor. But also, more people are dropping out. The older you get, if you're in the game, the less competition you've got. For me, I'm 36. A 36-year-old white male with brown hair, my God, there's a lot of competition. There really is. If you're in a minority, or you are older, don't think that that's a bad thing. Like, honest to God, like, use that as your unique selling point. Like, whatever is quirky about you, unique about you, absolutely use that. You don't have as much competition. as other people. You've just got to find those roles. You might have a very specific casting type, but when that comes up, that job is yours. So search those jobs out for yourself. Go out there and get them. Matt says my rejection was at least 2 months ago. Step it up, Matt. Let's all try and aim for a rejection a month. In our personal lives, out of our personal lives, in our careers, out of our careers. Let's all go right. Come on. And this should be a thing, This is why I shared that on social media. We need to share this shit more because people think that they're the only ones going through it. When you scroll down on social media sometimes, it can feel like you are the only person in the freaking world who does not have an acting job right now because all you see is pictures of here I am, here's my trailer, here's my script, here's my this, here's my that, going for a casting today. Agents are doing it. It does my head in because they're not actually explaining anything. Agents just basically, I don't know if sometimes they're just doing it to just get at other agents. They're now putting pictures up of like ITV logos and BBC logos and going, just had another 2 clients this morning, book a great BBC drama. And I'm like, what is it then? Tell us about it. Like, what's it called? Who are they? Are you just making it up to try and make yourself look like a better agent? But if you're not careful and you buy into all this shit, you just think you're the only one on the planet who's not working. And that isn't the case. That's why I wanted to put that thread out. And why I think it's had such a massive response to it is because people are like, oh, this is quite refreshing because most people are not doing this. Let's all do it a little bit more. Definitely. Jade says, so many times this month I was down to the last 2 in a commercial. Favourite, said the casting director, and bam, nothing. That just happens. And that can happen as well, Jade, when like things within the brief change. Like I've seen that loads of times where they've gone, right, okay, this advert was for a girl with long brown hair. Now we're going blonde just because like the other lad in the commercial has brown hair, so we don't want to both look the same. Briefs can change, and again, that's completely out of your control. Just look for the next opportunity. Sharon's applied for loads of roles and just hasn't heard back, so she's getting rejection daily. Well, there you go, that's good. Keep looking for more of that. Hopefully some of those will come off. Joe's last rejection was last week. But it's opened doors for her. She says it's made her push harder than ever onto bigger and better things. And Gary got 2 rejection emails on the same day last week. One for Triforce and one for Agents Open Day. Emails came almost at the same time. Well, Gary, that's good, mate. It means you're pushing out your comfort zone. And you're going for something new, which is awesome. And Dale says he worked in Pinewood Studios for a few months doing voiceover work. It was a good gig. I put myself up for 8 more of them since, all being rejected. But I'm going to keep going, Dale. Honestly, it really is like what I said at the start, a numbers game, absolute numbers game. Definitely. Ollie's got to go, but thanks for joining us, Ollie. You can catch up on the replay, mate. There's going to be a little bit more of this. Still got another 15 minutes to go or so. Well, 11 minutes, something like that. Last point. This is really important. This is something that what reminds you in everything in your life, right? Your past does not equal your future. In every single aspect of your life, your past does not equal your future. This is the most important thing to remember. Just because you faced rejection on this occasion, it doesn't mean you will on the next. Life has a funny way of rerouting us to bigger and better things. You've got to stay optimistic. And remember what I say at the start of every broadcast when I come here on a Monday, anything could happen this week or anything could happen tomorrow. You've got to really just stay optimistic and stay focused on the things that you want. And your past really doesn't equal your future. I had a conversation with a chap on the train coming back from one of the funerals I was at last week, and he was going crazy down the phone at his ex-wife. He told me this awful story. Bless him, this poor guy. Had ultimately gone home to literally find his best friend in bed with his wife. His best friend of 25 years, right? And in the space of about 2 weeks, because of this, he'd ended up going a bit crazy, having to deal with lots of different things in his life, leaving the home, packing all his stuff up, sorting his kids out, all this stuff. And ultimately, he lost everything, even his mum's relationship. Like, his mum took sides with the ex-wife. And this guy had his worldly belongings in 4 bags with him on the train, in the vestibule, coming from Stoke to Manchester. And he was going crazy down the phone. And I had my headphones in, so I couldn't really understand what he was saying. But he then shouted over, mate, I'm really sorry, you don't want to listen to my domestic. I said, oh, mate, I couldn't really hear it. And he just explained this whole thing. And it was just sort of it really helped him, I think, get it off his chest. And one thing I was saying to him, I was like, listen, right now, he felt the ultimate rejection, his wife and his best friend. That must just, that is crippling. And I was like, listen, right now, this is going to feel like this is it. This is your whole world has collapsed around you. Everything you trusted and thought, like was secure in your life has gone. And I was just trying to get through him to go, listen, right, your past does not equal your future. Right now, this is going to be dark. But honestly, you keep walking, and you might not even be able to see any light right now, but eventually it will come. You will see the light at the end of that tunnel. And just because, this has happened, this will not, should not define the rest of this guy's life. It's going to be freaking hard for him, but hopefully, he'll be able to get past that, and it will reroute him onto bigger and better things, a wife who actually wants to be with him. But my heart went out to him. I had a really good chat to him for quite a bit, actually. It was like we became mates on the train on the way back. But yeah, for everyone here, regardless of what's going on in your life right now, or what's gone on recently, or this year, last year, a couple of years ago, it's still hurting you today. It really does not equal your future. You can choose to do something about it, and it can seem very difficult at the time, and you might not feel you have a choice, but you really do. You have a choice how you respond to everything. Sometimes life will throw shit at you that you really do not deserve, and that you have not brought on yourself, and you have not chosen. And we want to react in those moments. I wanted to react when I got that email. I really wanted to react as like, right, that's it. Oh God, again. It just felt like crying, going, oh my God, all that energy and effort, and all those hopes and dreams, and dreaming of what could happen if I got this and what it's going to be like. And you know how you live it in your head, don't you? You go through it and you can picture it and you can taste it. And then you get that email and it's like, oh, my reaction was just, I just wanted to be like, oh God, and just lash out. My response was very different. I took some time out to reflect and to breathe, to put it all into perspective. And the fact that I'd just buried a close friend and seen another close friend of mine at a funeral. He was cremated, one was buried. Both actors in the space of a week, and they would give anything to be here to have another crack, to have a go. And you've got to remember that as well. Like, these are just jobs, right? Yeah, we want them, but ultimately, on my deathbed, am I going to be crying out, going, "Oh, just wish I'd have got that one job in Canada"? No, absolutely not. I'm going to be like, I want to spend some time with the people I love and care about, my friends and my family, and and you guys. I'll probably be like, get Facebook Live on one last time. Let's just do a live. But yeah, your past really does not equal your future, and you have a choice. You really do have more power than you think you have to influence your future. You are 100% in control. You just might not feel like that, or you might not think you are, but you really are. And the more action you take towards what you want, the better the results you will get. So rejection is absolutely inevitable, and how you choose to deal with it will be the difference between your ultimate success or your ultimate failure. Look at each rejection for what it is, no more than what it is, no less than what it is, just what it is. Losing out on a job is not the end of the world. 151,000 people, I use this stat a lot, but across the globe, 151,000 people lost the privilege to try again today. 151,000 more will lose that privilege tomorrow too. 151,000 people die every single day. Just picture that in your head. That's like massive. You get a full football stadium at Wembley. It's like twice over. Everyone at the stadium gone. If you woke up this morning above ground with air in your nostrils, you have already won, all right? Today is a great day. And I want to end on this quote before we do 2 minutes of Q&A. It's a quote by a guy called Harvey Mackay. He's a businessman, he's a best-selling author, American guy, great guy. He says, listen, most fears of rejection rest on the desire for approval from other people. Don't base your self-esteem on their opinions. This is something I am probably the most bullish on in life. Most people value other people's opinions of themselves far more than they value their opinion of themselves, right? You've really got to silence other people's opinions. If you will not, ask that guy or girl out for fear of rejection because you're like, oh, I just want their approval, or their opinion of me to be good, you'll never get anywhere. You need to just go, you know what, I'm doing this for me. And my opinion of myself means infinitely more than everybody else's opinion of me combined. And I can go to bed tonight going, you know what? At least I tried. I wrote in that tweet, listen, think of every rejection you get as a medal proving that you tried. So let's get out there this week and try and collect lots of rejection medals by trying new things, all right? So I'm going to be back next Monday. Do this every Monday night, 9 p.m. UK time, facebook.com/@onthisTV. Also, come join the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/@onthis. Just @onthisTV. And obviously, there's actonthis.tv, which is the website we're on. You'll find that over here. There is, and that's a stat for you. Only 8% of actors are in work. Let's make sure you're one of them. 92% of actors are out of work. So if you've got a job right now, big or small, it's freaking like enjoy it, like celebrate that, okay? Because there's lots of people. How many people in here would love to have been flown out to Canada? Probably everybody. You know, I'm not like that doesn't go over my head. I'm aware how grateful I need to be for that opportunity. Creating some wicked content this week as well. I don't want to speak too soon, but I spoke to Danny Brocklehurst today, the writer of Brassic. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it for me, but I'm trying to get a roundtable podcast with Danny, the writer of Brassic, Joe Gilgan, star and writer of Brassic, and Michelle Keegan as well. I mean, it's a big ask. It's a freaking big ask. But while they're filming Brassic in Manchester right now, the second series, I'm like, there's never been a better time to try and get these guys on. So I'm going to try and do that for you guys. That'll be available on actonthis.tv shortly if I can make that happen. But yeah, that'll be good. I've also got Rick S. Carr, great actor. He's in Brassic Series 1. Lots of other stuff as well. Coming round on Wednesday to record a podcast on finding a side hustle as an actor. He's now filming self-tapes for actors in Manchester as a side hustle. He's got a great setup at his house. He does a lot of self-tapes for lots of well-known people. And it's obviously created a business for him that's allowed him to get out of his normal job so that he can focus more on his acting. I want everybody to find, it doesn't have to be anything to do with the acting industry. I just want everyone, you know, who's an actor ultimately to like get a bit more control of their life and their finances and not rely on the 9 to 5 so much by starting a side hustle, even if that is flipping stuff that you are going, you know, I did this on a vlog. I went to a pound store beneath my apartment, Poundland. I spent £5 on 5 £1 items, and we put them on eBay and got 27 quid because we chose the right stuff. And on my vlog I go through how you do that. You basically open the eBay app up, you can scan the barcode of stuff with your smartphone and it tells you how much that stuff sold for on eBay. We just found stuff that sold for £5 on eBay that was £1 in the pound shop. We just bought 5 things as just a a guinea pig thing. It works. Just there are ways for you to get out of those jobs that you do not like, so you can spend more time on your acting career. So Rick's going to come around to record a podcast with me on that on Wednesday, looking at his business. For me, post about your stuff after are just. Oh, what's this, Gerard? I don't know I feel a lot of people are selfish and insensitive, not thinking about the majority that are out of work. Oh, and social media, yeah. Absolutely. Well, when we did the social media deep dive, the program that I run, I've just ran the first live event for actors. Me and a guy called Ollie Reynolds, social media kind of guru, has really helped me with my business and online stuff. We did a social media deep dive event in Media City, and I'm saying lots of people are just posting selfish content. You don't want to do that. You will absolutely have no following, and no people will want to invest in you or follow what you're doing online if all you are doing is posting selfishly, as in, look at me, here I am doing this, here's me pouncing at the camera, here's a picture of me where, like, how many people today posted a picture going, oh, it's so hot, and actually, they didn't look hot at all. I mean, they looked hot. They looked, great in this picture. They'd done all their makeup, or, like the guys were, just as bad actually, pouting just as much. They're not recording a picture of themselves because it's actually hot. It's just some sort of humble brag to say, look how great I look today. It's not offering any value. Your content online, if you want to have a following, should basically entertain, educate, or inspire. That's it. Every single piece of content I put out, I'm like, right, is it doing one of those 3 things? The reason that tweet I put out yesterday or the day before did so well is because it was relatable, and ultimately, hopefully it inspired people to go, shit, you know what, like, yes, I'm facing rejection, but so a lot of other people, and we all feel it, and here's a few tips of how you deal with it. So it educates people as well. Look at what you're posting on social media and, what it's doing for other people, not what it's doing for you. Just post from a place where you're like, is this going to make these people want to show up at my funeral more or less? And if it's more, post it. If it's less, don't post it. I can't stand when I watch people's Instagram stories and they've got the camera on their face, but it's silent. And they're literally just doing this. They're not saying anything. They're just going, look how great I look today. It's just like, wow, you're so selfish. And it probably comes from a real place of insecurity, but they don't, they're not aware of that. Just offer value. People resonate with value, Hopefully this has been valuable, tonight. Fingers crossed. All right, Nick, hope you're good. Oh, I've got 118 comments that I'm not going to be able to get through. I will go through them afterwards, though. So I'll comment on them actually as writing in the comments. Tony's here as well. Yeah, me and Tony had a little exchange of voice notes before, and I was saying, listen, people are giving social media shit, saying social media is so negative, social media is really hurting people. It's not. People are hurting people. Social media is merely a tool. You can use it how you want. You can use it to educate, entertain, and inspire, or you can use it to tear people down, put out negativity, and be, not a very nice person. People are ruining social media, and people are negative, not social media. Social media doesn't really exist. It's not even a thing. It's people using it. So stop blaming social media. Stop turning around and blaming, humans for putting that stuff out. It's not social media that's doing anything. Social media can be an incredible tool for really helping people, giving people connection. The kids, people say, oh, but bullies can get hold of kids anywhere. When I was a kid, if you were being bullied, you went home, and yes, the bullies might not have been at your house, but you had no friends, right? You were bullied, and you sat in your room until you went back to school and got bullied again. Now, what the internet does and social media does, the bullies can still get at them. They can be blocked, though. It gives kids an outlet to reach out to other people who maybe are being bullied. Play computer games online with other people who don't judge them because, they're on the other side of the world. Social media can be an incredible thing if it's used correctly. So don't slate it. It's absolutely, it's such a privilege that we live in an era where we have it. Matt's going to message me. I've not caught what about, Matt, but yeah, message me, mate. That's no problem. If I can do anything for anybody, please drop me a tweet or an email. You can email me, ross@actonthis.tv. It sometimes takes me 10 days to 2 weeks to get back to people. I get a lot of emails, but I will always get back to you. Tweet me. I'm pretty good at replying on tweets. It's at Ross A. Grant or at actonthisTV. Come and join the actonthisTV community. If you're an actor and you're not a part of it, I'm not giving you the hard sell because I just don't operate like that. But my God, you are doing yourself a disservice if you are not part of this community. You've got so much good content on there already, and so much more content to come. If you are an actor and you want to get further in your career, you want to learn from casting directors, you want to learn from other actors who are successful, BAFTA winners, Oscar winners. If you want to hear from writers, executive producers, basically so many people in this industry that you would probably die, well, not die, obviously, but, you would really, really, really give anything to get in front of. Get yourself over at actonthisTV and get yourself a membership. It really will, change your career if you invest. It's just £10 a month, by the way, I'll tell you. I'll be completely upfront. £10 a month, £2.50 a week. Cost of coffee, when I have a cost of coffee, costs me £4 a cup. It's insane how expensive coffee is right now. I need to just cut down on it. But yeah, £2.50 a week, you get access right now to probably 300 hours worth of content, and 3 to 4 new features a month. So probably another, 8 hours a month of brand new content with the best people in the industry. So I would love to have you on board and see you inside the community. Like I say, if you need anything for you, hit me up. Thank you to everybody who's watching the replay, listening on the replay, for coming this far. I know it's been quite a long one tonight. 10:05. Come join the Facebook group and have a fantastic week. But yeah, let's go out and let's seek some freaking rejection, right? I know it's hard and it's difficult and no one wants it, but actually, like we said, if you're being rejected, you're pushing yourself. You're pushing the envelope, you're pushing your limits, you're seeing where they lie, you're becoming better, you're growing through that adversity, and you're creating more advantage. So yeah, something to think about. Thanks for spending this bank holiday with me. Catch up with you guys very, very soon. Until next time, bye for now.